Okay, good evening. My name is Rick Bergen. I'm the CEO of pureVibranz, and tonight we're going to talk about healthy living as we age, part 3, toxification and aging. So, how toxins affect our bodies and accelerate the aging process. This is a major challenge and something that we need to be aware of because it's one of the main reasons we end up aging sooner than we need to and end up with all kinds of different diseases due to toxicity. So what is toxification? Well, everyday sources, food, water, environment, personal care, all of these things have toxins. Yeah, you heard me. All of them have toxins, right? So now some of them have less than others, and you need to be aware of things like your personal care products, but we're gathering toxins daily. Now, if it's one day, one toxin, not a problem. 2 days, two toxins, still not too bad. But when your system looks like this, right? Bottles representing obviously toxins, this is what most of us look like inside if we're not detoxing. So, the body burden versus toxic capacity. Right? You only have so much capacity to detox. And if you overload the body with toxins on a daily basis, you're depleting your detox capability. And that's where the trouble really starts. So let's look at some common sources of toxins, like these common products that we use. Food additives and pesticides. Most of us aren't even aware of the food additives many times. And the pesticides that we're just using, are we reading labels? The list of everyday exposures most people overlook. Air and water. So unfortunately, many times you can see the pollution in the air. If you can see the air, something is wrong in most cases. And the water, water pollution is a major challenge. And sometimes we get pollutants actually right from our tap. Household and personal care products. This is a big one, right? Household and personal care products, they're loaded with toxic stuff. Medications and heavy metals, right? And, medications load the body up with toxicity, and heavy metals, many of which are in medications. So here's a list of 10 toxic household items you should throw away. You may not like this list. I didn't. Okay, so non-stick pans. So those non-stick pans, they're a problem. And this thing called PFAS chemicals, right? It's been linked, they've been linked to serious health risk, including cancer and hormone disruption. So keep that in mind. I think pretty much most of us have non-stick pans, but when you scratch them, you're releasing those chemicals and consuming them. Plastic food containers, right? So BPA and BPS, which is a bisphenol, are synthetic chemicals commonly used in plastics and food packaging. And they're known to be endocrine disruptors, potentially leading to health risks such as reproductive harm, developmental issues, and increased susceptibility to various diseases due to their ability to mimic hormones, human hormones in the body. Okay. All right. What else we got? Air fresheners and scented candles. So now we've got VOCs and phthalates. Well, what are VOCs? That's volatile organic compounds. Now, I'm not sure why they put the word organic in there because these are anything but organic. And they pose a health risk, such as eye, nose, and throat irritation, headaches, long-term effects like damage to the liver and central nervous system, with some being suspected or known carcinogens. Here we go, another challenge, phthalates. They disrupt endocrine functions and are associated with various health risks, including reproductive harm and developmental issues in children. Okay, here's a happy list here. Vinyl shower curtains, placemats, phthalates, they off gas. We've got dryer sheets and fabric softeners with fragrance chemicals and VOCs, synthetic bedding, right? Fire retardants. And here we go, cheap cosmetics and personal care products. Now, this is a big one because cosmetics and personal care products are loaded with these things. And let's look at paraffins. So that's a group of chemicals commonly used in preservatives for cosmetics and personal care products to prevent the growth of harmful bacteria and mold. They are considered endocrine disruptors, as they mimic estrogen in the body, raising concerns about their possible links to health risks such as reproductive issues and breast cancer. So we need to look at other alternatives. Old scratch cutting boards. That's another big one that I didn't want to see. The bacteria, but more importantly, plastic degradation, which basically leads to the fact that we've got so many microplastics in our body that are affecting our long-term and, in many cases, short-term health. Single-use plastic containers and utensils, leaching and microplastics. And when you heat plastic, that's where you really have a problem. A lot of times people will have a plastic container, you'll put it in the microwave to heat something up. Well, guess what? When you heat up that plastic, it leaches chemicals that you do not want in your body, and microplastics in the process. And last but not least, harsh chemical cleaners, bleach, ammonia, acids. So we need to look at reading labels. We need to be aware of other options when it comes to cleaning products. Like, you can use vinegar, baking soda cleaners, things like that, that are going to be less toxic. All right, toxins and aging. Chronic inflammation from toxins. So most people don't know that chronic inflammation is normally from toxification, too many toxins in the body. Chronic inflammation from toxins is so common, it's ridiculous. And DNA and mitochondrial damage. So there's a huge connection between toxins and biological aging. Because as you build up the toxins in the body, and you get to the point where you're not cleaning the toxins out at the rate they're coming in, chronic inflammation is what shows up. And then DNA and mitochondrial damage is next. So now when you damage the DNA and the mitochondria cannot produce what they need, disease is likely to follow. And it's linked to accelerated aging markers, right? So the markers like your telomeres, when the DNA is damaged, telomere rate accelerates. Signs of toxic overload: stress, emotional strain, sometimes people, right? It kind of looks like this. Fatigue, brain fog, digestive issues, skin problems, and hormone imbalance, right? These are common, unfortunately. And it's just really about toxic overload, increased vulnerability with age. So now you build this all up over years and years of toxic exposure. And now you have an increased vulnerability because of how long you've been storing these toxins, right? And haven't been taking action to make sure that they get cleared out of the body effectively. Detox pathways in the body. So the liver, kidneys, skin, and lymphatic system, these are the main ones for detoxing things out of the body. Natural detox capacity declines with age. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that you're so toxic, right? You're so toxic, you don't realize it. And sweat is actually one of those detox methods. The thing I love about doing hot yoga, for instance, is the amount of detoxing I do 2 to 3 times minimum a week, right? That's a way to constantly be detoxing. And it's so important. It makes such a difference if you're not doing something. The importance of supporting these systems is crucial because we know the liver breaks down, you got a problem. The kidneys break down, you got a problem. The skin, it shows everything that's going on inside the body, and the lymphatic system, if it's not draining, we have issues. Nutrition and detox support, antioxidants, fiber, and hydration. These are three majors. Cruciferous vegetables, herbs, and chelators. And chelators is a big one. Chelators are nutrients, are food that actually has the ability to chelate or attach to toxic stuff and help take it out of the body. And cruciferous, these are example of cruciferous vegetables. Notice all the green, we got kale in there and broccoli, right? Supplements, NAC and gluten precursors. Now, what's important about these is if you don't have the precursors, your body will not produce naturally the things like glutathione and CoQ10, right? So you need supplementation. That's just the bottom line. If you're not getting supplements, you're going to have problems because the body's immune system cannot stand up to the toxicity that we're introducing, especially if we're not clearing it. Detox strategy. So here's a couple of books that may interest you that you can find information about. Detox Strategy by Brenda Watson. So this is a bestseller, New York Times bestseller. The Fiber 35 Diet and Vibrant Health in 5 Easy Steps. So it explores how toxins accelerate aging and chronic disease, guides readers through estimating personal toxin exposure, and outlines step-by-step detox strategies, including herbal supplement plans and detox promoting recipes. Toxic, and this is the updated expanded version of Toxic Heal Your Body. It addresses emotional toxicity, such as mold, environmental toxicity, excuse me, such as mold, chronic chemical exposure, and their impact on systemic health and aging. Non-toxic, a guide to living healthy in a chemical world. And it's a vital resource for understanding everyday chemical challenges in food, water, personal care, and environmental, offering clear steps to reduce exposure and protect against disease. Toxic relief, restore healthy energy through fasting and detoxification. And what have I been talking about? Another New York Times bestseller, Dr. Coble, MD. And as many of you know who know me, I fast literally every week. and I'm in a constant state of detox, cleaning out the body. This book breaks down the simple detox strategies, including juice fasting, supplement protocols, and lifestyle guidance to help you overcome fatigue and restore vitality. And fantastic voyage. Live long enough to live forever. The science behind radical life extension. And I know most of us want to live longer, but we want to make sure we're healthy when we do it, right? No one wants to live longer and have 10 years of sickness. Explores how toxin accumulation accelerates aging while promoting aggressive lifestyle and supplement strategies to extend your health span. All right, so we you should have an email land in your box here any moment with if you gave us your email address with that book list and this little opportunity to reflect and think about where we're at or where you're at. So, scale from 1 to 10. How clean is your lifestyle? So, this is where you need your notes. Make a note. How clean is your lifestyle? Scale from 1 to 10 to the best of your knowledge. Just one small change to reduce toxins. So, it's really about one step at a time, right? If you try and do everything at once, you will not be successful. It's like the old saying about trying to eat the elephant. The only way you can do it is one bite at a time. Habits are hard to change for most people. So you need to keep that in mind and look at, what's one small change I can do to reduce my toxins, whether it's detoxing somehow, whether it's exercise, sweating. I have a sauna at the house for the same reason. Maybe you're cutting some toxins out, something you normally eat that you know is toxic, and read the labels. And here's something we should all be aware of. Aging is inevitable, but accelerating aging is preventable. So keep that in mind because that makes all the difference. You have control of what happens, much more than you know. Preview part 4, parasites and aging, which will be next week. All right, so we're gonna take a little I'm gonna be ready for questions. So I got a few moments to ask some questions or answer some questions if you have any about what we just saw, and then we'll go on to the next section. So I'm going to stop sharing this. All right.